You are listening to the audio portion of the QB Power Hour webinar series. The QB Power Hour is a free biweekly webinar series for accounting professionals presented by Michelle Long and Dan DeLong, who are very passionate about the industry, QuickBooks, and apps that integrate with QuickBooks. You can find out all the details about the webinar series at qbpowerhour.com. So without further ado, here's Michelle and Dan. Welcome everybody to another QB Power Hour. Sorry for the subject confusion, but today's our topic is the grass greener at Xero than QBO. We were supposed to have keyboard shortcuts and how we can increase efficiency with keyboard shortcuts and all sorts of other shortcut types of things. But unfortunately, Matthew is not able to join us today. So we had to pivot, and we had to pivot quickly. So a lot of the emails that went out with the topic and whatnot, unfortunately, caused more confusion than as normal. So we need two people to take the place of Matthew. So we have Sarah Prevost and Lynda Artesani joining us here today. So let's go ahead and just do some introductions, and we'll kick it off from here. So my name is Dan DeLong, owner of Danwith and School of Bookkeeping, worked at Intuit for nearly 18 years at co-hosting today, also at the Workshop Wednesdays over at School of Bookkeeping, also doing some feature deep dive guest hosting at the unofficial QuickBooks Accountant podcast. Yeah, that's all about me. So let's go ahead and toss the ball over to one of the best eyewears in the accounting industry, Sarah. And I think, are you still muted? There we are.
No, I'm unmuted. Thank you so much, Dan. I'll let you try these new ones on I just got because my changed again. So gotta get a new one. I am the founder of Vintage Labs, but more importantly, I'm the co-founder of the Proper Trust, where I get to share my time and my journey with Lynda Artesani. We're building a fabulous team on that side, and we're solely focused on the legal niche. And I am happy to talk about my love for Xero.
And also Lynda.
I'm Lynda Artesani. I also get to work with Sarah. We have the Accountants Law Lab, and then we also have the Proper Trust is our business. Law Lab, we just help others learn how to do what we do. We had a big demand for it. So we just do a weekly meeting, which is just amazing. It's a lovely group of people, and we interact and talk about the challenges of legal accounting. But and I wrote a book called Modernize Your Law Firm. So for the attorneys, basically a book for the attorneys. And yes, as you see from my bio, I am an alumni member of the Intuit Advisory Council. So I'm probably not Team Xero, but that's the only hit you get.
All right. And so I really appreciate you both filling in on such short notice. And we were going to have Sarah come on sometime in June to talk about this topic. To just fast track that as quickly as possible, because we wanted to have this discussion and see where, and I think the best way to frame everything is, and we'll talk and unpack what the triggering events that are occurring here, but as we have seen over the past few years, Intuit has been driving the accounting community to look elsewhere, I guess is probably the nicest way to put it. And we were talking yesterday, where is the grass greener in someplace else? My philosophy is really the grass is greener where you water it. There are some, when is it the last straw when you look at something else? And so I wanted to have a Xero professional, because my life has been centered around QuickBooks. So there's some trepidation and fear with learning something new. And what is that green, or how green is that grass when you actually think about it?
It's blue.
Yeah, it's blue, right?
It's a sea. It's a vast sea of blue.
So a little bit of the details about the webinar series every other Tuesday at noon Eastern. We do not have live CPE credit, as Blake was saying on the intro video there, but we do have a follow-up CPE credit through Earmark. You can check out our channel there on Earmark, and about 5 to 7 days after today's webinar, that one will be available for CPE credit as well. And there is a link there in the slides for our channel on Earmark. View all of the prior ones. So as we discuss this topic here today, if you have specific questions for Lynda, Sarah, or I, please put them in the Q&A, because that's a lot easier to catch them as they come in. And if we need to answer them live, or if we need to follow up, that's a lot easier to do that as well. If you have general comments of, hey, the slides are wrong, please put them in the comments there, and hopefully we can get to that in the chat. For those of you watching on Facebook or YouTube, I will do my best to monitor that over on my left here. I do have, and on top of all of this, I lost my assistant, which was my son. He is now getting a full-time job and moving to Michigan. So he is unable to be the behind the scenes guy for me there. So I'm looking for that all at the same time. And of course, we have our Power Hour store. What's on the agenda today? So we're going to be talking a little bit about the state of QuickBooks ProAdvisor. When is the last straw? Lynda has a wonderful perspective on the silver linings of all of these things. And it's not all gloom and doom. But we want to talk about, is Xero any better? To talk about some of the platform differences. Sarah will go into the demo account inside of Xero, and we'll take a look at some of the things that accountants and bookkeepers are really focused on and interested in, and how those might be different, and some of the Xero partner program differences. Sarah, what do they call ProAdvisors? Is there a ProAdvisor equivalent term at Xero?
We're accountant advisors is how we're referred to, which I think is a brilliant way to cross-connect all of it. You're not very specific in areas. Like, it's just an accountant advisor. That's generally what we are in ProAdvisors too. Just, yeah. So
it's clear.
Clear. Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, I think that the term ProAdvisor they don't use the word pro anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least as far as a version of QuickBooks is concerned. All right. So before we get into our fireside chat without fire, I want to talk a little bit about tags, because and this is a double-edged sword, right? We talked about it a couple weeks ago on the update webinar about what is happening with tags, and true to form, Intuit has reversed their position, right? Just to keep us all on our toes, right? We were talking about tags are going to be read-only May 16th, so in 3 days. At the early part of the month, they reversed their position on that. And this is all due to feedback that they have received. So that's the silver lining in all of this, is that Intuit is not obtuse to hearing feedback and reversing their position. It's unfortunate that they didn't take this feedback prior to making all of these announcements and changes. However, at least they did make a positive change or reversal of this change, because tags are not going to read only on May 16th.
But are they going to kick the can down the road and do it in September, or is it just off the table now?
I do not know.
Okay, I figured they were going to kick the can down the road, but I don't know either. But I didn't need too much.
I should have put on the slide as of May 13th, 2025. I don't even know what year it is.
This thing's making me itchy just looking at this. Like,
Steve Chappelle reference there for.
yeah.
But the drop down, the silver lining here, it's also the drop down custom field that was added to help with this migration of tags to custom fields. That functionality in all versions is going to remain. So you got something out of this as far as that new functionality. And this is only affecting existing users of tags. So new customers that, especially after that 16th day, they'll never see tags. But the challenge was, of course, is that the profit and loss by tags, reports, and those types of things that were being the cool part of tags was not, they really didn't have a good option for those people that were using it in that manner. So that's why the existing customers who were using tags will still continue to tag their transactions and use tags in that manner. So kudos for Intuit for reversing that decision, but shame on them for even bringing it up in the first.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that they actually added the custom fields all the way back to the ledger program, the lowest of low tier, so that you get one, but you get the drop down, you get one custom field, but under the lower tiered SKUs, you didn't have custom fields. So this is interesting that they added it. I agree with, I think Becca in the thing, they'll probably take it away at some point, but they're just not going to pull the rug out from underneath you, even though a lot of you already went through like she did and you started to clean up the data. They were using tags. Man.
It's nice to know that, okay, it's still in existence, but the new files, so you have a delineation.
Yeah.
Sometimes you look at a file and you're like,
if it's not the new one, Sarah, then I would say it's probably going to go away at some point.
Exactly.
Yeah. I wouldn't put all of your stock in that, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
But hopefully, my hope is that they'll have a better end-to-end experience for those people that are using tags for the profit and loss by tag report, so that it would actually be useful. Or ultimately, we have this profit and loss by custom field, which is, what it's going into. But we
actually had a funny potential client come to us. I don't know if they became a client, it was a while ago, but tags had just come out and they figured out how not to get into QuickBooks Advanced with lawyers because you need the chart of accounts. And they used tags and they showed me this whole workflow. And I can remember just looking at it going, that's really cool, but they don't show up on any balance sheet items. And you need that with the lawyers. And that poor person's face, because they thought they had it all figured out how not to have to pay for advanced. It didn't work. It didn't work at all.
You could hear the prices, right?
Yeah.
Always in the background. It's bad
I
page.
agree that with Rosanna and Ted, they were saying like they should have put a survey out first. They should have queried it first, but typical fashion, we're going to be beta testers in every way possible.
Yeah. Yes, Miss Zero, you be quiet now.
It's not, obviously, I'm multi-platform.
Yeah,
I've been here a long time. Yeah.
So we're gonna kind of set the stage here about how did we get here, right? Like the Talking Head song. How did we get here, right? This is not my beautiful ProAdvisor program. So there's been quite a few changes in the ProAdvisor community from Intuit, right? There's the desktop degradations, the slow march to whatever the future holds. This is all speculation. We don't have dates, times, or numbers. We're all experiencing this just as you are, as far as when you're a desktop, coming from the desktop world, and then cloud with the cloud accounting with QBO coming into the play here. Some of the things that we know and love as accountants and bookkeepers, the Intuit online payroll for accountants has gone away. The enhanced payroll for accountants, new subscriptions has gone away and significantly increased the price of said services. And then the heavy marketing in the product, which is a polite way to talk about QuickBooks Live. Are they a competitor, or are they a complementary service? Not a free service, but a complement to the service offering that you like. So there's a lot of people that are holding on to some of those old things and mindset. Different CEOs had different options. Derek, you talk about you are a multi-platform type of individual. You had your starting with desktop, right?
Yeah, my start was in desktop, and I should add a clarifying thing because everyone's made comments about this. It's interesting. Intuit uses for accountants. I said an accountant advisor. It is called a Xero partner advisor, just for clarification. But it is interesting how it interchanges, and there's this hang up of this terminology, understandably so, with certification levels in different states and so forth. But having started my journey, like a lot of people on desktop, loved it, wasn't interested, looked at online and thought, oh my God, remember Stacy had all this, giving us all this stuff. And I'm like, I can't even imagine this thing online. What does that mean? I remember the security was the number one thing for everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, is it secure? Are you sure? Can we do this? And then the app systems became a thing. And that's how I journeyed myself into that. But when I went to business for myself, I really felt that, why is it just one platform? There's this other platform. And these types of, not everyone understood QuickBooks. And so it was nice to offer a secondary platform that really just was intuitive to my mind as well, a little bit faster in adoption and easier to speak to with the client. So that's where my mind went to. And I thought, well, this is pretty neat. Cool. Something cool and different is what I was thinking. Cool like your glasses, right? No, kidding.
Yes. It sounds, I got some feedback here that you're a little hard to hear. I don't know if you can.
Yeah.
Your mic mic.
Here's my mic.
Oh, very sexy.
Hold it like that.
I know, right?
That was Sarah after hours there.
Whoops.
Yeah. All right. So I want to toss it over to Lynda here because she has a wonderful way of putting things into perspective, that it's not all gloom and doom as far as some of these things. And so you want to talk a little bit about your perspective, Lynda?
Yeah, I've only been QuickBooks. I was desktop originally, and then moved to online. Like Sarah said, I did follow Stacy, but when it first came out, it wasn't very good. And I was a little bit on the fence about it. But the idea that you could always log in from anywhere was very appealing. We were using like Log Me In on the desktop back then. And the payroll with QuickBooks, that enhanced payroll was just the bomb. It was the best payroll ever in desktop. And we moved to online. And I think with online, obviously been using it for a very long time. And I was in the era of the ProAdvisors. We were beloved. We were the source to sell online to our clients. I still remember how I did it. I took all of my clients that were in desktop and said, this is where I'm going. We're moving to online. I had already done my own file for 6 months or so, and I liked it. And this is how we're doing it. I stopped doing hourly billing at the same time, brought them all over and told them that they didn't like it. I had found somebody locally that would do desktop, because sometimes you went to their office back then, and everybody came with me, and it worked really well. But I think things have shifted because of a lot of things that they're doing. Even just when they brought up that business view, and I can remember going, why are you making things confusing? Because now I got to say to the client, this is how you do it. And then they go, I don't have that button. And I have to explain that you're in the business view and I'm in the accountant view. And then they backtracked on that too. And we've had some blank pages on QuickBooks. It does feel like we're being beta tested, like Sarah described. But I never really wanted to learn Xero. I did jump into it temporarily to see if I could expand my business and do it that way. And I didn't care for it. I didn't like the bank feed, the way the bank feed was done there. There was other things I didn't like about the reports were lacking. This is going back now. This is going back. I don't even know how many years ago. It was way back. It was when, whatever year this is, Sarah, when Xero just started to dip their foot in the U.S. market. And
if we're probably mentioning this to me, I feel like you were around 2018.
yeah, it was way back. It was
Yeah.
not that far back, but I remember I tried it because The one thing I did really like about it was the look of it. I loved the blue and the color, and Intuit's QuickBooks Online. I think they're working on that because it's very light gray. And I think that theirs was much better on the eyes, the UI. But there were so many pieces of it that I don't like it. And then I had a bad experience with becoming a Xero advisor. I did all the tests, which wasn't that hard, and got certified. And I thought the clients were going to come to me and they were like, no, you're going to get 10 on your own and then we'll give you some. And I'm like, you didn't tell me that in the beginning. I wouldn't have wasted my time. So that's where that all landed. But then since then, we've worked through being together and working, and we have clients on it. So I'm not as sour grapes to it. But I think when it comes to QuickBooks and the ProAdvisor program, it's a tool, it's a software. We use it. It's really the only software that's out there that fits the clients that we call mid-market, and we have small mid-market and we have medium mid-market, and we really hang in the medium, but sometimes we have smaller ones. And we've been testing the waters with trying Xero, because I always think of Xero as like equal to Essentials. And I think that when you look at it, it's actually gotten to the point now where they've been investing into it, that it can now serve bigger client base. We've got a very large client on there that has a lot of transactions. And I compare it to maybe one of the QuickBooks Advanced clients that we have that's very similar industry. And even yesterday, I was working on a client's file, and it was like every time I clicked on a bank feed transaction to download it, I had to wait for the circle to spin. And you don't want to have that experience at all. And we don't have that with the Xero one, and it's the same size and components to it. So that kind of makes me lean towards Xero. But then I just know QuickBooks, it's very deeply integrated, has so many bells and whistles because that's how they built it. And there are things that are lacking, but if you haven't looked at it in a while, you probably should come back to look at it. If I was 45 years old right now, or 35 years old, working in my book, definitely do it. Oh, no, I'm not. I would definitely look into 2 platforms, because this way I've got options for my client. Because when you tell a client it's $200 and whatever a month for the software, and it's in that smaller space attorney, that's really hard for them to how we need this tool. They don't even care about QuickBooks. They want the end result for taxes, but they don't really care how we get there. So when we can come to them with another option, it does fit certain clients, and it's not as expensive. So it's a good option, and it's not hard to learn. So QuickBooks, and you're good at software, it's not a hard learning curve, but you got to get past that bank feed thing. Sorry, Sarah.
It's the same. I mean, if you look at it, what we saw on the screen at QBO, they're change the bank feeds. It's the same thing. We always talk about this. They're going to test it out and try new things and see if we like it, and then revert back. But I happen to agree, Lynda, like you're saying, and what Ted even, it is mind-boggling to me. And I think that's how I approached it. Why is it a one-size-fits-all? And then why am I putting everything in one basket? Which is where I always felt, Dan, and what you were bringing up earlier, is where the status is of where we are. It's been a hard road with Intuit of late. We were that trusted space. We were those coveted people for a while, and it meant a lot. And I'm not saying it doesn't. It still means a lot to have a partner in this.
And there's wonderful people. There's wonderful people at Intuit they really do still feel that way about us. But sometimes the messaging from the top comes out and it doesn't sit well. It does feel like they're encroaching into your work, where they're trying to put the ads. You don't have those in Xero. You don't have the constant advertisements. Even if you shut that off in QuickBooks, it's still there. So I think that's a big plus. Jeannie Cook asked if it's a good match for the construction industry. And I know you have multiple clients. So
yeah, I don't have any. I would say possibly a light trade. I don't have anyone in there that's construction heavy. I think the weight of a construction entity, and I don't know really all the apps. I'd have to look at, they have a large ecosystem of apps, but Ted's saying, oh yes, and Ted's answering Katie.
Yes,
But,
Ted was one of the first employees of Xero US. So I appreciate him being there to help.
I
helps
know.
out with
I
the
love
technical.
it. I've met him one time in person, but yes, I know of Ted. It's wonderful. And yes, Ted's right. There is a really beautiful dashboard for accountants in there. There's a lot of learning opportunities in there, just like what we have. It's no different than what we have in the advisor space that we have now with Green. It's just laid out slightly different.
In general, if you're coming into this and you both are in the, are focused on the legal niche, for anything dealing with legal industry, you guys have it covered there. But I think there are things in both platforms that are going to have pros and cons. When you find a specific industry and that you're looking to service a specific industry, you're ultimately going to find those specific workflows are going to not reside in your general ledger accounting package. You might have the shallow end of the pool being addressed by those things, but you're largely going to see other apps or applications where the specialized workflows end up living. And both platforms typically are going to have a large ecosystem to be able to do that. You were saying, Sarah, the app ecosystem for Xero is in the hundreds, right?
It's like what, 400 and I'd have to go look right now. I don't know the exact number, but it's high. And I do have a fan. Jeff is my fan. We're going to take him.
Converting from QuickBooks Online to Xero, is that even a thing? I know Matthew's done it and I've known that, but I don't know. Is it easy to do? I've done
it. There are ways to do it. Honestly, though, I feel like, Lynda, you and I have rethought this in a lot of ways. When we look at a QBO file and say, do we want to clean this up or convert this? Like we have a desktop file right now. It's so messy. Just start fresh. Sometimes the starting fresh and then having the historical data in a way that you can pull it out for whatever audit purpose reasons and so forth. That has seemed to be the better model. Sometimes you don't want 20 years of history rolling into something. I have done it. There are tools out there to do it. I don't know where they stand because I'm less apt to do that style any longer.
Yeah, because the cost value and the value. So is it a value this is how we sit with our clients. Is it a value for us to take your PC law program, is just its own thing, and pull it out, take the CSV, import? That's a lot of money. We're talking like thousands and $40,000, $50,000. Or do we take the balance sheet, start new, import the customers and vendors, and just pull that in? And then you refer back to PC law when you need to go look at old stuff. Yeah. Or you just rebuild a year. There's lots of options, and that's usually the easiest, cleanest way to do it than to reinvent the wheel. And it's just expensive for the client.
Yeah.
Yeah. It ultimately boils down to, is the juice worth the squeeze?
Yes.
Somebody is going to be squeezed.
Yeah. And does Xero have a reseller program, Sarah? I see that's a question here too.
There are different programs. So what you do get is you get an advisor. You actually get a partner advisor, and that's different. Dan and I were chatting before this and is talking about every time, if you ever noticed, if you sign up a new client, once in a while, you'll get this random, hey, I'm your sales partner channel from QBO. I'm like, who the heck are you? I don't need your help right now. But I get an advisor. So when I need support with a client file, if I need support with a demo, because I want to show the differences or work out, hey, I'll use Jeannie's example. I've got a construction person. This is what they look like currently. And we want to look at Xero. Is it possible? We'll talk through that. They'll support me through that. There's things that they'll do to help me with the client. So in fact, a lot of times a client will ask me a question and I'll kick it out to my advisor. I actually have a partner that I can communicate with. The support has been amazing for me. I know that it's different. We always want to pick up the phone and call Intuit. I don't like doing that. The scheduled calls are nice. A lot of times I'll put in a case ticket with Xero and I'll say, hey, this is getting complicated. Can you give me a call? They call. I've been at, I should disclose, I've been a part of the Xero Partner Council. It just came off. And so I've been in their office in Denver. I've been in their offices where I can see that they have support right there. Like people are working, answering calls, helping. And
somebody asked if you could support US based, or is it worldwide or global?
I'm presuming I presume it's got to be worldwide because there are worldwide markets. I've never asked, I've never thought about it. I mean, everybody I've ever worked with has been super helpful, to be honest. And
But do you have to wait? Do you have to wait, Sarah? Because
you
it's
have to wait for
Australia.
response time, but you can see you on your case ticket, it actually tells you this person will respond or this has been picked up. You'll get a response in 15 minutes. It'll tell you that. So you get some tentacles to like what's happening. I will say though, I don't have to write support often. So this is the thing.
Mhm.
There's a difference, right?
That gets you a gold star.
Yeah, but Jamal is right. They're very good. In fact, I've been in places where a client's employee has locked themselves out. I write on behalf of the employee. I fully know what's going to happen. I disclose that. I let them know how to reach the individual because they can see the information based on their user criteria profile. And they bow me out of that case and they start a new case and they've done it for me. And the owner has been traveling. Had no idea that their employee was locked out at a store where they have to sell and record sales and so forth. And I'm in the background just humming along.
Could they have like accountant users in QBO, like where you have some special functionality or user feature functions that you would have as an accountant?
Yeah. And you can control that too for your own team. So I have my team. When I include my team on a file, I can have special roles, criterias that I want that team to do. Similar with an owner could invite their team. We just had a change for one client where she only wanted the sales side for all the managers. So we just have sales side and it precludes them from, similar to what Lynda and I do with bank information or report information. Thank you, Ted, for adding that there. I knew he was going to.
The user roles, Sarah, are not as good as, let's just say, advanced. I'm talking different price points, but you have more ability for client user roles with QuickBooks than you do with Xero. You have more.
Precisely. Yeah, we have, because if you think about advanced, though, we're looking at, it was built in a custom user role-centric space.
Yeah.
When we're talking about just a typical ledger and you have like certain aspects, yes, you don't have to have your staff seeing a whole total thing. You could have cutoffs and pieces to it.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, and somebody brought this up, and thank you for bringing it up, Xero is focused on the deeper integrations with different platforms. So Carbon is a deeper integration.
Yeah, Carbon, I know, is a big one now, right? It's new.
Yeah. There's Gusto. What's nice about the Gusto one is you could be in the file, click, and I've shown this to the owners, and they're like, oh my God, I could do that. You go into the payroll module thing that says payroll, click in it, takes you right to Gusto. Any bill, any journal entry that you've brought in that has a little quick link that takes you out.
And the reason why they don't have that in QuickBooks is because they want you in QuickBooks Payroll. They click in on your Gusto and then it pops into QuickBooks.
On my time with council, one of the biggest change, and it was a very fast moving change, is they heard the community saying you don't have enough bank connections. They ramped that up wicked fast. So they have a lot more bank connections now. So that's pretty cool. And one thing that they have that I absolutely love, and this is awesome, you can take a PDF of a bank statement and toss it into the product and it will import it for you. So if your bank doesn't connect, you have the option of doing that without having to convert or do external things. It's just pop it in and move it along.
Yeah. So I think most people are concerned and are mostly curious about the bank feed, reconciliation, that sort of thing. Could you mind sharing your
Absolutely. Yeah.
screen, and we'll let's take a look, because I think that's the first impression that people will get is, okay, how do I convert my QuickBooks bank feed knowledge into the Xero bank feed knowledge? So that, because for a lot of people, the magic happens.
The magic happens. And I think the biggest thing the caveat too, is if you think about it, the path of Xero was, it was built in these other countries that don't have as many banks as us. If you think of how many banks we have in our nation, like it's in our United States, is crazy, right? It's built for like 6 banks. So you didn't need this extra thing, and the US market needs it. So I'll go ahead and share.
Vivian actually said she likes the fact that Xero's bank balance is the cumulative bank feed info rather than the current bank balance, which how many times anybody here that's listening has gotten a call from a client that says, something's wrong. My balance doesn't equal the bank. You're messed up. You didn't do your books right. And then you're like, well, wait a minute. You're looking at the bank balance and the QuickBooks balance. You had a lot of checks outstanding, but they call you up and they start yelling at you, and they don't understand that there's a difference between the two balances. I bet there's a lot of people who've had that lovely conversation.
Oh yeah. No, we've had it so many times.
Many times. Yeah.
Yeah. So you all can see my screen, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Okay. I'll just pop into, this is your dashboard. You can edit and move stuff around on your dashboard, so you can show things that you want to. You don't have to have everything displayed. Lynda and I love this.
We love that. Yeah, it's cool.
Watch list. There's a way to go.
The client too.
Cash in and out. Just simple. It's just very, like we were saying, it's very easy. So let's just go into reconcile.
Does Xero do payroll? It's always outsourced payroll, right? There's no Xero pay.
Yeah, in the past, they had that for a little bit. Didn't really move as well. It wasn't available in all the states. Every state is so hard. Payroll is hard. But so their partner, you can paychecks, ADP, all of those can come in. Their deepest integration is with Gusto, and it works really well because I'm a huge, Lynda knows this, we're a huge Gusto firm. So I've been using Gusto for a while. Similar to what we see currently in our bank feeds in QBO, if it's matched, it has a green. So it has some sort of denotation. You can add bank rules and so forth. I'm going to skip ahead and go to what Dan is asking about, which is the reconcile period. This is the newest thing that they've built. I happily have been a part of this in conversation at council. So I'm starting fresh. This is a demo file. So just take it as it is. It'll tell us what's outstanding. So it looks like something's just been hanging out up here for a while. I had $100 to start. I've got a negative balance. It auto checks everything. I can close the period. Okay, great. There's my period. Let's go into what was the norm, what we also used to see. People, I think, were always confused by this, what I call the register, how to look at this. And it's organized by date. It can tell you what's unreconciled, what's reconciled. But for the sake of conversation, let's go into, I just reconciled April, and I want to make a change to this. Let's just say that I'm going to, just for ease, I'm going to do this and hit update. It can't, because it's locked, because it's in the reconciled period. So it protects the data. So that...
Right. It just doesn't give you a warning like QuickBooks. You can do this, but...
Yeah, but there is, if you go back in and you found this error and it needs to be fixed, you can go back in and obviously unlock it, edit this period. It'll unlock the period and allow you to do this. But let's create the next period. It already populated my information. It populated my opening statement balance like we normally see in others. I'm going to put in 0. I'm just going to go to the 7th. Because sometimes we do those.
Is that similar to the close date?
Yeah.
Or is it just for that register account?
It's for I would do the close date, the regular banking statement close date. Sometimes you do a soft reconcile to see where you're at, see where things are. You want to check it out, make sure everything's in right.
See how nice the UI is here, though? The red just stands out unless you're colorblind, and the red stands out. In the blue, it's very nice on the eyes.
So it's telling me like, hey, you've got some stuff in here, but guess what? You've got things to code. You can't do this. So I would have to go back and, oh, look at that. Look at all this stuff I have to code. It's basically telling me go do your work.
In a nice way.
Yeah.
So
The other big
it's
benefit.
very similar to, I'm looking at
Yeah.
putting it through my QuickBooks lens, because that is my frame of reference.
Yeah.
It is very similar to like desktop, where the bank feed was left and right as opposed to up and down.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. The one feature, I can do a cleanup so fast due to this thing called cache coding.
She does do it fast too. I've watched her. I'm so lost what you just did, Sarah.
I've done, it was a small file, but Lynda and I had to do something real quick. And I literally it was 12 months for, I think it was a checking, savings, and a credit card. I think it was, Lynda. And I was able to do it in about 7 hours total.
I know you popped in and I'm like, I can't even follow you here.
Yeah. But the beauty of this tool is that you can organize it and you can basically math. If I can just grab all these. Oops, I did that wrong with my keyboard. Sorry, I'm trying to.
Zero's getting a lot of love in the chat. I can tell you that.
Let's just say I'm going to drop all these in. So we'll just travel maybe. Okay. All right. So I got to pop all these in. Good. Save and reconcile. Those are off my plate. Okay. Now I'm down to the next. 5 are done. Okay. Let's move on. When you're doing bulk work like this and you've got repetitive names, you can organize it by payee, description. You can apply. If you've got your rules, oh, look, 7-Eleven's in here. Okay, let's go do 7-Eleven. You got your rules right. Okay, so just go ahead and apply that rule. Thank you very much. I don't have to do anything. Goodbye. See you later. The mobile app. I was at Xero conference last year and the mobile app just got a huge enhancement. So I was doing a client's file while listening to the seminar. It's a small file, just whipping it out, cleaning it up. And it was very intuitive. If you haven't checked out the mobile app, it's pretty neat, to be honest.
Can you show Sarah because the other thing I didn't like about Xero is the fact that the chart of accounts is very flat. And you have a way of making it not be flat. Because I like the sub accounts and the collapsibility, a lot of extra details.
Yeah. I think this is where my buddy Jeff might come in and like this. He might be saying this too, is what's nice about this is, so I'll go into what you're asking for, Lynda, and I'll say, edit my layout. And let's just decide that these guys need to be grouped together. And we'll just have a blah group. Update my blah. Oops, let me go back. Sorry. Let's get some more things in here. I'm going to just group these together. And so now this is a layout. Let's just say that we want to group another section together. So I tend to group these.
Like insurance and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Things that are professional services or whatever.
Yeah, things that and you can see it on a preview. Sorry, I always forget this. It's a fairly new tool that I love. So here's blah. Here's my new, there's nothing booked into this. So let's just go grab something that's booked in. Let's go look at that preview. Before I hit update my layout, I can take a look to see how is this looking? How do I like it?
Nice. I like how fast it loads too.
It's fast. Yeah.
Now, when it comes to financial statements, Richard asks, can Xero do financial statements like the statement writer? I know financial statements are weird.
I don't know what statement writer.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's desktop.
The old one from the long time.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's referring to. Or can you do managed reports or management
Yeah,
reports?
there's managed. Exactly. I'll show you
There's a saved report. Yeah, there's a way of saving the reports.
Different ways to do this. You can have your published, custom, draft. You can export. I always export straight out to Google Sheets a lot of times myself, PDF, styled PDF. That's a whole other thing. There's like a whole bunch of stuff, but let's go to what he's asking about. So let's leave this for a second. And I do want to highlight another feature too that I really like. And
that's immersion
pop up. This is nice. This is more about, this is an update we did in the product.
See,
So I like
different
this.
than the commercial, right?
Yeah, it's not a commercial. It's introducing trial balance by date range. So that's a new product thing. So Dan, I think I want to go to, let's just play around in some of these and just, let's do the executive summary for a second.
So it's already a preloaded template.
Yeah, because I
love it.
think with the exception of banks, reports is probably going to be the next hit list of things that accountants and bookkeepers are going to be mostly concerned with.
Well, and
General ledger.
I have another tip, and I might get a TED approval on this one, is the Find and Recode, our reclassification tool that we have in QBO. It's really robust in this particular software. It's amazing. I can do things pretty quick inside the software, and I like it. But this is one of the reports. This is pretty neat. I used this when I was having a conversation with a client, and they're like, "Are you sure we're up?" And I said, "Okay, let's take a look." And these were way up, and they were by 200%. And I had to show them like, "Oh, our average invoices, that's how many invoices we create." And this is a Clio to Xero conversion. So this data was coming in from a software, and this was reporting it for me. It was beautiful. Let's go.
It's easy for the client too, when you see the up and the down arrows.
Yeah.
Sarah, do you know, does Xero have time tracking at all, or you have to get that with your payroll?
There is I don't know if it's right here, time entries, all projects. On these demo files, it's always hard to know. Staff permissions, staff cost rates. It's in the project. So the project is a adder that you can add.
That was a question somebody asked too, because that's the other thing is that when you buy Xero, you add on the pieces that you like and then you pay extra for it. But that was another one. You have projects and it can track by project.
What was really nice, I will say, Christy Monahan, dear friend of mine, we were on council together and we're talking, she's really specialtied in nonprofits. That's where her background, she was construction nonprofits. Anyways, we were talking about this and we did a test model on the demo file. And it was actually really cool. She said, "Oh, I could use this for nonprofits very easily." So
can you cost code?
Look right here. Yeah, you can. Cost code.
Like adding the client name to, let's just say advanced client cost, because that's lawyer stuff. Can you?
Lawyer speak.
That. But if you're doing job costing, basically.
Oh, those are expense claims. Yeah. So when you're entering a cost, let me go back over here. And mind you, we spend a lot of times in professional services and we actually work in other
industries.
So Lynda and I, a lot of that stuff doesn't pertain in the ledger for us. However, right here, so they've got their hub doc thing, as you saw.
Hub doc's included, right?
On the middle tier. So that's a win.
That's worth the whatever you extra pay because it's a good way to pull in receipts and save a ton of time.
I'll just put this into the first thing. Look right here. Assign expenses to customer or project right here. So you can assign it. You can tell it what project, which I thought I saw this. Yeah. Assign. So it's inside of there and I've assigned the expense.
So new spend money isn't adding an expense?
It's adding an expense and it's versatile. You can do it with
bill or an expense.
Or you can do a bill. Very similar to what we're used to. So
just different terminology.
Yeah, terminology. It's translated. The other thing too is these tracking. If you are working with brokers, real estate brokers' offices, I use this I have so many of these regions. I have regions by sale. I have regions by the individual who sold. I've got a whole section of things and I can build all these out. It's easy for me to use this. And once you save, we'll just put it on the east side. I'm on the east side in Portland, so let's just do that. You save it. It's got it in here. You can quickly go view it. Hey, I liked that so much. I'm just going to go ahead and copy it, do it again. If it was paid by a check and you want to reference a check number, you can note that there. So I do want to take you all to what's called the Find and Recode. And this is like our reclass tool that we have. And you can set up criterias of what it is. Like what if you want to find a recode on a contact, which you cannot do. So let's do that, Abby Wells. And let's search to see if we got nothing.
Yeah, pick one. Look.
I got to find one. Willow Properties. Okay, I just did this Willow Properties. And guess what? I am not keen on the name. Oh, let me go back. I'm sorry. Let me show you all this. That you saw that. You can recode source or with a manual journal right from here. These are the features. I can change the contact name if I need to. What if Abby Wells or the Willow Properties was spelled wrong? And I just want to get it all fixed. I can change the account where it sits. If it had a tax rate.
So you can change it right here in this screen. You don't have to.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and you can have your regions. So all your class tracking, which is our region, like our market track. I'm trying to think of the word. It's escaping me today. But anyways, we can do that as well. So we can do all of these and then review, cancel, move on, or whatever you want to do. So this Find and Recode is, you can do it by entered, tax rate. Its criteria is amazing. This tool has saved me when I have found like, oh my gosh, you guys just threw all of Amazon into Ask. I'm just going to go.
Office supplies? I thought.
And it's 5 million Amazons, marketplace, web, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm going to change the contact name. I'm going to clean that up. I'm going to change where it's going to go. And off I move. Yeah, I know it's an office supplies, Lynda.
So you had, Sarah, or I think it was Lynda actually said that Xero is in line with Online Essential or Plus, depending on the flavor. What is the version ecosystem of Xero when you're looking at what flavor do they have and who might be a good fit for one over the other?
I tend to utilize, there's a different variety. I can say I've got my, what we call write-ups. Lynda and I have these write-up clients and year-end stuff where they're literally just at the end of the year. So I'll go in and have them on a ledger. So essentially like a cash book ledger or ledger.
Which they had ledger way before QuickBooks had ledger.
Yeah.
And it's fairly inexpensive, isn't it? The ledger one?
Oh, there's ones that are just for us advisors too.
Which is what QuickBooks is. Same.
Yeah. So let me bring over the pricing, Dan, and bring that in to
QuickBooks.
On sale. Everyone's got on sale. I typically rest in growing. I have a little bit in, not very many. In fact, I should look again and see who's in established.
But it's really not $2. It's the 20. That's a little deceptive there.
But look at what's considered.
But still 20.
You still get an early, if you're not a high volume.
Yeah.
Which I have a few of these folks that are in other apps. They don't have a lot of things that they're doing. They're bringing in the data. This works perfectly for them. A photographer that's not really spinning out bills through here, let's say that they use a different app or they're just dedicated subcontractor for one group.
Somebody said you get as many users as you want too. Is there no extra charge for users or you don't have to bump up?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't.
That's interesting too.
Sorry, my mouse has damage.
Is there an Amazon app that connects? Because somebody wrote that. Becca wrote that connecting the Amazon app and QBO is necessary for her and what she does. Is there one in
I'd have to look in the ecosystem. It's a great question. There are, so right here, explore the Xero App Store. You can go in there and QBO could go in and take a look. Again, there are ways to make apps connect that in this AI space of ours that you could do at a low code through Make or Zapier or those types of things and not squish in all this data that's unnecessary if it's built a certain way. You could build it a different way. So
yeah, because there's always that works with whatever, right?
Yeah.
Works with QuickBooks, works with Xero, where the devil is always in the details. And
Exactly. Yeah.
you can be the angel and make your own details through some other manner, right?
Yeah.
And they even have a compare button there. You could go
They
on
do.
compare
They have-
versus QuickBooks.
Yeah. So you
I'm
can-
sure it's slanted in a certain way, but yeah.
they've
Okay.
got, they can show you what
Mhm.
you're,
Yeah, what you're
Yes.
buying that's the same.
so just giving you an idea of what this looks like. So it go onto this and look at the different versions.
Now, as a QuickBooks ProAdvisor or a Xero accounting partner, what kind of like certifications, training does somebody have
Yeah.
looking to get familiar with Xero?
Yeah. So they have this, I actually really appreciate it. So getting certified, obviously, like QuickBooks, it takes a bit longer for you to get certified on the front end. You have these very relatable certification videos with some tests, questions, and it's very intuitive learning. Researching is super easy.
I heard from the ladies that the research was just silly. It's very easy. It's not.
but
you have
it's
to
on. But if you think about it, Lynda,
on the new stuff.
it's on the new stuff. It's on the relevant stuff. It's very bite-sized. Honestly, do we honestly have time to get certified?
No, I don't want them spending hours on it. I'm locked in. So
But
Yeah.
yes, it's to say silly, that's fine. But I really say like it's more intuitive because it's more here and now. And it's honoring our time as busy business owners. And I think that's the really key essential.
And certifying is important because recertifying is important. If you've gotten a certification, for sure it's important, but recertifying because you want to. I learn something every time I do a recertification. As much as I grumble about having to do it, you don't, unless you're watching every in the know webinar with Intuit, you're not going to know every single thing that's happening. And it's good that you're able to get certified on what's going on and keep your certifications. It's important, even if it's. With Intuit, we had I built my business on the ProAdvisors and the leads coming in. I got advanced certified, which is now level 2. And I built my business off of that. And then that has changed as well, where most of the leads I get, I don't trust that they're not some kind of a spam. That's not a source. You don't only want to have one source of leads anyway. That's not recommended, but for sure, that's not how I would build my business today.
It seems out there that where Xero is today, as far as like the core functionality, is especially when there's real world implications like money going out or money going in, that they have built a partnership with what I guess would be like a gold standard, right? Like a connection to bill.com or Go. You mentioned Gusto for payroll. Doesn't mean that you are pigeonholed into only using that as a solution.
Yeah.
But they already have a way to be able to do those things. Whereas looking at apples and apples comparison, QuickBooks Online versus Xero today, Intuit has taken on those tasks themselves for the preferred method of being able to do those things. Whereas Xero they're partnered with Bill for bill payment. They're partnered with Gusto for payroll for those initial things. Would you say that's kind of a fair comparison right now?
Absolutely. And what they're also doing is I'm in the sales module. You've got the different kind of workflows, I guess you could say, and they've built this way. This has not changed in a while. I know the invoicing has changed, but they do, like you're saying, they have Stripe here, but you can use other platforms. I've tested out a few different ones. I'm using one, I use Stripe and I use Helsum. I can have 2 different payment I turn them on or off depending on the cost versions of what I need. But yes, Dan, to your point, you have multiple ways of working with this program where I don't feel like they're honoring us as advisors. So they're honoring us in that space of, okay, we see a small business do better when they have an advisor attached to their file and getting this guidance. They're not in it to compete with that space that I feel like right now is a little bit of a conundrum that we're in with Intuit. It's, hey, we've got live. Oh, but you know what? You as an accountant or an accounting firm, you could also use live too, or you could do this. Or I'm like, wait,
Yeah,
what are you selling me?
Yeah, to question and answering. You can have your clients call us to how are they going to even know anything? And the thing about the question and answering is they can only stay in the lane of QuickBooks. They can't, our clients would want to know, how do I do this in Clio? Well, that's not helpful, that service. Sarah, merchant services with customers, how does that work with Xero?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I like right here, it does say Stripe. You can attach PayPal. You can attach, there's multiples in the background. You can attach, like I said, HealthSum. There's multiples that you can attach in to have this work on your invoicing. It will also work with Stripe is their leader just because that's the one that they deeply integrated with. They used to have Square. That's no longer. I've only dabbled with a few, to be honest with you. I do, and I'll put the name in if you'd like, Health, HELCIM. I do like that particular one. I have a client that's heavily in Square, like really 3 different locations, 3 different EINs, and we have a whole workflow that we do. And it's a store. So we have product, we have inventory, not very heavy inventory, I should say, but so we didn't really cover that, but we've got products and services as well that's similar to our products and services in the sense of you've got income, you've got expenses. They could be
Or I buy stuff and I sell stuff type of inventory. There's not like a management of, I'm going to build stuff out of this raw material, or I'm going to put it in a certain place so I can find it later. The advanced inventory, you would say, essentially, it's on par with what they can do inside of QuickBooks Online. But we are actually at the top of the hour already.
okay.
Sarah will keep going. No, I'm kidding.
We could have an extended power hour. But I want to keep people on time, be respectful of time. I appreciate you all joining us here today. We obviously didn't have any poll questions because we couldn't figure out how to do all that in such short amount of time period. But really, I think having this discussion it's a good starting point for some folks.
Yeah.
You guys are mostly in the legal space, and having those additional niche industries, but it looks, from what you could show in just such a short amount of time, I think framework is on par between the two. There are clearly navigational differences and a learning curve in picking up something new. But if you are in an industry that has multiple apps where you have a tech stack of some sort, you will likely find that those applications do synchronize with both platforms. My wife finds that very funny. You heard that in the background.
I always do that. But beautiful software is what I refer to because I find it to be, it's a beautiful software to work.
Did they have a support group, Sharon? Xero?
There's like a whole community.
Is that on LinkedIn?
You can do LinkedIn, but inside the...
in the community. Okay.
In the community.
There's your answer, Kathy.
Yeah. But thank you, everybody. And if you do, I'm sure Dan will have some sort of link referral thing that we could help navigate you to. If you just want to let folks know at Xero that you've learned from Dan's webinar here with us.
Yeah.
I appreciate that you allowed me to share this today. I think it's always been my little gem, rock star in my kit of tools.
It was very busy.
You are a little gem. And that's not a short joke. But you are one of the greatest people that I know in the accountant community, and I really appreciate you joining us today, Sarah, to be able to share what you do know about this platform. Hopefully the folks that joined us today learned something new. And maybe if it comes to that last straw where, okay, that's it. There are other things, other options out there, and there are other communities. But again, the grass is greener where it's going to get watered, and putting those things all into perspective may not be the last straw while you're still working on it. I appreciate you both joining us. Any final thoughts before we close out today?
No, thank you.
I don't think so, but yeah, you did a good job.
Business partner. Having my business partner with me too.
Yeah, I get to be Matthew for a day. Yay.
All right. We appreciate everybody joining us today, and we'll see you next time in a couple of weeks. QB Power Hour. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
We hope you enjoyed listening to the QB Power Hour podcast. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in our Facebook group. You can find those resources and much more at qbpowerhour.com.